What is going on, you guys? Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyle Sulkar, and today we're going to be going over 1 year of ownership with my 2021 G80 M3. Now, if you guys have followed the channel for any period of time, you can see that this is the first car I've ever spec'd completely customly. I bought one car brand new, the 2018 M3, and I did a bunch of videos on that car, of course, one similar to this, but this one is exactly how I wanted it. I ordered it in every single configuration I could, with the M carbon bucket seats, the Kyalami orange extended / full leather, and then obviously the frozen dark gray metallic outside paint with the wheels and all that good stuff. So with that being said, guys, let's go over a little bit more about this car and what has happened in 1 year and 6,500 miles of ownership. All right, so as you guys will see on the front end here, we've got the beautiful laser lights and all of the aggressive, beautiful notches of the M3 competition, followed by all the black accents, of course, and your little black badge right up front. I think it's an amazing front end. I think it's growing on a lot of people, and I think it's weird to see the sentiment, because when I first ordered the car, people were like, why would you do that? And now everyone's like, oh, that's the coolest thing. And maybe not everyone, but a lot of people like the M3 now and the M4. One gripe I have about the front end of this car is that it is matte. So that means I had to get it clear broad and Expel Stealth, because obviously Expel Stealth is a more matte satin finish. So it matches pretty well. However, the problem is that if anything ever happens to this car anywhere on the car, it's going to be a nightmare because you can't match the paint. And that's something that makes me not want to drive it. That's why my 2018 M3, by this time, I had probably put about 11,000 miles on it, and this car I've only put 6,500 miles on it, because anywhere I park it, I have to be considerate of. Anywhere I drive, anyone I drive behind, I have to be considerate of, because if a rock goes through that Expel, it's going to bother the heck out of me, and I know the paint is probably never going to match. One thing I absolutely love about the M3 on the outside is just the absolute aggressiveness of the rear end of the car. You can see it kind of forms all the way into this rear door, which leaves a ton of space in the back seat as well, which is awesome for carrying passengers. So I don't really carry passengers that much, and as you can see, the seats look like brand new. They've never been sat in. But for any passenger that does sit in the back of the car, you get this beautiful view of the carbon fiber, which arguably is a better view than the driver has. Now, when you look at the M3 in the back, you see a bunch of things that look like mods, but it's actually just factory. Now, I did not opt for the exterior carbon package because I thought that if I really wanted that, I could always add it later. And I'm actually pretty happy with that because I think the black matches the nice tinted windows very well. It gives it that nice matte gray and gloss black kind of look throughout the whole car. You see things like this bottom diffuser that is absolutely huge, and then the huge exhaust tips, as well as obviously your M3 competition designation and the beautiful taillights and all that good stuff. You got a camera and rear parking sensors. Nothing absolutely insane about that, but honestly, you need to have them, especially with a car that's this big. So as far as the wheels, I've always been a fan of this two-tone look where you've got this nice little edge around it. I think I probably got that from the Turbo S, the 911. They always have had this kind of cool two-tone look on some of the options, and this looked perfect because not only was the car gray, matte gray, but these pretty much match the car perfectly, even though they don't say that, and it gives it that nice little two-tone offset look. However, one problem with this whole entire car, including the wheels, is that anything that's a matte finish is an absolute pain to clean. Not only can it not be buffed and fixed, but it just makes the things very, very difficult, especially considering these wheels are like death traps as far as your fingers go, because you can literally get them caught in anything. But they look beautiful and they're great when they're clean. It's just an absolute pain in the butt to clean them. I'm sure some kind of matte ceramic coating would help, but I never got around to doing that, so I just kind of live with them as they are. They're decently dirty as it is right now. I don't know if that shows in the camera, but overall, nice wheels, 20 in the rear, 19 in the front, and I think they look great. I do think they would benefit heavily from a set of spacers and a drop and a bunch of other mods, but we'll go over that right now. So a lot of the reason I think I haven't gotten completely into the car is that I haven't been able to mod it at all. Now, it doesn't mean I don't love the car. It just means that I think the car would be more fun if it was louder, faster, lower, and wider with a little bit of spacers. However, the problem is a lot of those things start to void the warranty, and that's just something I'm not willing to deal with anymore, because the laws and regulations are very strict as far as BMW warranties and stuff like that, and I don't want to make them angry or get blacklisted or anything like that or blow up any motors. So I've kept the car stock mechanically, which is a little bit boring, and it's probably going to lead me to make a decision that you guys probably won't be happy with. Now, something I've always loved about this car was the power plant. This motor makes 503 horsepower and 479 foot-pounds of torque, and is an absolute monster. The one thing is, though, the chassis is so big and the transmission is just so forgiving that you really don't feel the power. If you look at the speedometer, you can sure see that the car has a lot of power, and obviously you got really good grip with those Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, but you don't get a lot of drama in this car, which makes it really hard to have a lot of fun without, you know, really getting aggressive, which I really don't do. I've actually never even been pulled over in this car, and knock on, I plan not to. And I think part of that reason is I don't really have a commute where I can really use the car to its fullest degree, and I don't really track my cars nowadays because I haven't really had time to do that, and I don't want to smoke these brakes because they're probably ridiculously expensive. But yeah, with that being said, the motor is great, the transmission is great, I love the car, and I think it would very heavily benefit from a set of downpipes, intakes, and a tune. But like I said, that's just not in the cards right now for this car. So one of my favorite parts about this car, if not my absolute favorite, is the whole interior. This interior is gorgeous, and it's beautiful, and it's orange, and I know a lot of people are kind of impartial on it, but I think it really suits the exterior very well. As you guys can see, it's got nice little details like the competition seat belts right here. You've obviously got the beautiful M carbon bucket seats, which were a love it or hate it thing online, and for me, it's something that they look so good that it makes up for the ability to get in and out of them. It's a little bit trickier than a normal seat, but man, do they look good. And like you guys saw, they look fantastic from the back as well. As you guys can see, some important options I got on the car was the carbon interior package, which makes this carbon fiber, the steering wheel carbon fiber, and kind of wraps it all together very nicely. It's kind of a finish we like to see. And then if you guys see here, the paddles are also this nice carbon look. You got the LCD display obviously here, and you got the nice touchscreen here as well. And the 2021 came with wireless charging, so you've got it right in there as well. So what's interesting about these cars in general is that there was a ton of supply chain shortages, which makes these obviously very difficult to get on any sort of relatively good time scale. I ordered this car in January of 2021, and I received it in July of 2021, which now it's July of 2022. So it's officially been 1 year with the car and about 17, maybe 19 months since I've originally ordered it. Now, it's still a year out to get one of these things, especially considering you know, the different options like the seats and the paint. You can't order frozen paint anymore, or at least until 2023. So that makes this car very special, and it's actually why I've considered putting it up for sale. So the reason I got the thought to sell the car is that I really just don't use it for its purposes. Now, I ordered this car as to replace my 2018 M3, and I kind of waited it out, and I was like, you know what, I want to try the new thing. I've had all the M3s aside from the E30, and I want to kind of be able to compare them, show them to you guys, etc. But without the ability to mod the car, and you know, without the ability to really drive the car in any kind of spirited way, because my commute is literally just highway driving. I drive to work and back pretty much from the city of Chicago. It's not the best suited car for me, and especially considering the market on these cars is very high because there's such a long wait for them. And obviously, you know, considering I think the market should be going down in the next 6 to 12 months or so. Could be totally wrong. I was wrong before on my other M3, but who knows? I just think that I don't use it enough to justify a brand new car price tag. And if I were to spend this much or more, I would probably buy an exotic that was a little bit more depreciated, so I could hold it, look at it, detail it, maybe do a couple things to it, and retain the value, versus looking at something and thinking maybe this is better suited in somebody else's hands who's going to care for it, use it for what its purpose is, actually use the back seats, which I literally have never used, and enjoy the thing a little bit more than me. So for those reasons, I decided that it's time for this thing to go. Now, I know that might upset some of you guys because this car brought a lot of people to the channel, which I really appreciate, but the M3 CS is coming out with an LCI, so I might consider doing something like that. And you know, obviously, I would do a completely different configuration than this, not because I don't like this configuration, but because I like to try different things and see what's going on there. But honestly, guys, I already have bought another car to fill in the gap of this car for now, at least, and it's going to be a more fun project, a little bit more rare, and a little bit more interesting, I think, overall to bring you guys into. So I'm excited for that, and you guys have to stay tuned for that video because it's coming out right after this one. But overall, guys, I want to thank you so very much for all the support and all the love you've given this car, and anyone who's came to the channel because of the car. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be plenty more G80 content on the channel. I work directly with Elmer's BMW, people who not only sold me the car, but they're going to help me sell the car as well. And I would never, you know, deviate from the plan of our BMW content. So new M3 competition, LCI is going to be coming soon, obviously new M5s and stuff like that, so I'm excited to bring those to the channel. But overall, guys, I've absolutely loved this car in the time that I owned it, and I definitely would recommend you guys to pick one up yourselves if you get the allocation or the ability to. Like I said, this channel is always financial, good financial investments first, not necessarily just blowing money just to blow it and spending money on cars. That's how I've sustained it so long, and that's how I've been able to progress through the different cars over the years, just being smart about it and stuff like that. So unfortunately, this car is gone and it's going to be sold today, and I'm super sad to see it go. It is such a beautiful car, and it's done so much good for me online, and I'm so glad for everyone who's been able to experience it with me. But honestly, who knows, there might be an M3 CS in the future, or the LCI, whatever comes next, and we'll definitely change up the configuration a bit. We'll see. It might be a little bit more daily drivable, a little bit easier to live with, and that might be the ultimate M3 competition for me. But guys, as always, thank you so very much for watching. As always, like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you did not. Subscribing would be the absolute world to me. You can follow me on Instagram at Kyle Sulkar for all my personal stuff, and at Sulkar Media for all the behind the scenes business stuff and whatnot. But with that being said, guys, thank you so very much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. That's good. It would be nice to do this without me here, because I think about it exactly a year. Yeah.